Down, Lola. It's 9:30 a.m. Saturday. Down, Lola. Anybody in here? I see 8 people. You don't have to lurk. You can come in. I did a private broadcast the other day, but I didn't post it. First, I'd like to start by saying I am so glad the streets, hey Denise, the streets of Savannah are quiet once again. Those poor neighbors. And by the grace of God, only 5 people went to jail, as opposed to some kind of drive-by shooting or something like that. Good morning, Christy. Morning, Melanie. Morning, profile manipulation. Hey, Puss in Boots. Hey, Mandy. Puss in Boots, why are you accusing me? You always come in here accusing me. No, actually, I was going to go live yesterday, and I'm only going to touch on Wendy and Randy for a second. Now, they call me an e-beggar and all this shit, and I just take it. Well, I made a jab back, and I didn't even watch them yesterday. I went back and watched it this morning. Actually, I skipped through most of it. Um, I love you too, Puss in Boots. Yeah, I'm okay. Um, and they didn't concentrate on me very much, and I'm not going to concentrate on them very much. Hey, Pearls of Wisdom. But they sit up there, they call me an e-beggar and all this shit. So I made a jab back about Wendy crying whenever she gets a donation. So they went on to say how ungrateful I am. And I'm going, if anybody went to jail for being ungrateful, it would be me. Blah, 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 blah. Because I don't cry when somebody supports my channel, or somebody sends me a PayPal, or somebody sends me uh, a Cash App. Well, first of all, ladies, you don't know what I do behind the scenes. Now, Wendy has made a couple comments that her financial situation has changed. Been there, done that. I went from making $40, $45 an hour to absolutely nothing. Uh, I lost my home, my car, I lost everything. I lost my credit. I lost everything. But that doesn't stop you all. So I went under Randy's and I was reading the comments and, tell me how horrible I am. And Randy's comment was apologizing for ending her stream quickly because she was becoming emotional, I guess, with all the money that people were sending them. Thank you, Daria. I am very grateful. I'll never forget that when I first come on this platform and came to my own channel, the money that my supporters raised so that I could go to Florida and sit by my son's hospital bed as he suffered with an infection that could have killed him. I'll never forget that. But I feel like I've paid it back too. You know, when Lolly died and I came live, I donated every penny of that money. I didn't keep any of that money, you know. But Whatever, it doesn't matter. So Wendy has explained that her financial situation has changed. And hey, I get it. I get it. You know, like I said, I went from making $45 an hour to crawling home to my brother's with my tail between my legs because I'd lost everything. So I know what it's like to have your financial situation change. I don't know what her reasoning is behind it. It's none of my business. But don't ever call me ungrateful. So in Wendy's comment, or not Wendy's, I'm sorry, Wendy, in Randy's comment, she says, they can make fun of me all they want. Does Randy, do you realize that's what you do every time you go live? Every Friday night, you two sit up there and make fun of someone. Every Friday night, you all sit up there and make fun of people. And I have been the butt of your jokes. And that's okay. It's YouTube. But please don't ever tell me how ungrateful I am because you have no idea. I don't know, cheerleader for love. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to start crying. Although, okay, I'm moving on from Wendy and Randy because that's all the time I'm giving them. You know, don't sit up there and call me an e-beggar. And then when I make a jab back, start boo-hooing about it. Hey, Bailey Vex. So, I want to tell y'all a story. If you don't like stories, you can click out now. But yesterday, I get it, Daria. I get it. But, for her to put in there, if they want to make fun of me. No, Randy, that's what you do every Friday night when you go live with Wendy, is you sit up there and make fun of people. Yes, they did. They're still giving bombshell hell about money. So yesterday, y'all know I lost my therapist. I told y'all it's going to be a bumpy ride. But I wasn't emotionally feeling the best, anyways. And I have this friend. His name is Little Ricky. Okay. And I met Little Ricky when I went into the casino business. And when I was going to school to become a dealer, yes, they really are hypocrites. But when I was going to school to become a dealer, they didn't pay me. So you had to work and then go to school around your work. They had morning classes, afternoon classes, and night classes. Well, he was in one set of classes and I was in another. And I didn't know him. He lived in the same town as me, but he was a little bit older than me. So I didn't know the man. But he's a little bitty short dude, not very attractive. Sorry, Rick. But we'd be passing each other. He'd be leaving class as I'd be coming in. And I'd say, how'd it go today? And he'd, just growl at me. And I thought that was funny, you know. And then I'd see him a couple days later and I'd say, how you doing today? And he'd say, motherfuckers, blah, 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 blah. And, I'd say stuff like, well, cheer up, Buttercup. I had no idea who this man was. So we finally went to work at the casino and I met him. Hello, Miss Leah. And we became very good friends. And he was the type of guy, when I say the grouch in the garbage can on Sesame Street, he was like that. But I loved him. And he would give you the shirt off of his back. And But I loved that personality. I loved his sarcastic. I mean, if the sun was out, it was too hot. If it was raining, it was too wet. I mean, it was just, that's just who he was. And when I was mentally healthy, I could take it. I could handle it. So, we worked together for, I don't know, 12 years. I ended up leaving, went to another casino. He ended up hurting his back and went on disability or whatever. We kind of lost contact. We talked a little, a few times while I was in Florida, but, you know, we kind of lost contact. So when I came back to Indiana, he got in touch with me, and he was the exact same Ricky. He hadn't changed a bit. He had had to wait 18 months to get his disability, but he got a substantial, morning, Don Marie, Bailey Vex. Uh, he got a substantial settlement. I mean, it was like $60,000 or something. I mean, it was quite a bit of money. And every day he calls me, and every day he just tells me how horrible his life is. Now, keep in mind, I had just got back from losing everything. I had no money coming in. I had, I'm living at my brother's, but I'm doing my best to keep a smile on my face. And, you know, so I'm trying to tell him, come on, Ricky, it could be worse. You got 60 grand in the bank. You can go rent you a nice place. You can get you a different car. You can get your eye surgery done. You've got medical insurance. But sometimes, especially lately, with my mental state, I couldn't handle his negativity. Over the years, it got to the point that it wasn't funny anymore. It just wasn't funny anymore. So recently, when he would call, sometimes I would hit the fuck you button, because I didn't feel like talking. I was in a bad enough mood. I was dealing with my own issues on top of that, Chance's issues. I just didn't feel like hearing him complain. So I would hit the fuck you button. Now, occasionally I would text him and say, hey, I'll call you back. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Don Marie. I'd text him and say, hey, I'll call you back, and then I wouldn't get around to calling him back or whatever. So yesterday morning, I thought, I really need to check in with Ricky because he really had nobody else. His children robbed him blind of his money. And uh, so I called. I didn't get an answer. I didn't think nothing about it. To be honest with you, I was kind of relieved I didn't get an answer. And then I checked my messenger, and it said Ricky had passed away the night before. Hey, Saint Ratty. And I had the worst day yesterday. Now, the last text message to him was, he said, I love you. I said, I love you too. But after that text message, I'd hit the fuck you button probably 3 or 4 times because I was just going through so much myself. And then I get the message after I tried to call him, hey, Lindsay, in Messenger, Tim, which was about his only friend, Tim and I. But Tim was closer to him. So Tim could, when I say closer to him, I mean in location. So Tim could, take him things and, do that. No, it's okay, Puss in Boots. But when I got that message, I just got this feeling that washed over me that I was a horrible friend, that I wasn't a good enough friend to Ricky, that I had put myself first on several occasions. I even talked to my therapist about little Ricky. And my therapist told me, on the days you can't handle him because of your own mental health, then, you have to take that step back. But I feel like I let him down so much. All I had to do was answer that phone that last time. Why did I hit that fuck you button that last time? Why did I do that? Why didn't I just answer the phone and listen to him complain one last time? So that's basically the reason that I did not listen to Randy and Wendy last night when I saw my name in the title. Because I was already down enough on myself. I didn't have to hear anybody go at me. I mean, they have every right to. I'm not saying that. Well, Puss in Boots, you know our group, and I've got to make a point to start being a better friend to you all. I've got to make a point to start. I can't fix Ricky. And Ricky has to be happier wherever he is than he was here on Earth because he was freaking miserable. Yeah, I wasn't going to go over and listen to that last night, St. Ratty. And I only listened to a small portion. And they didn't concentrate on me very long. They just said that, I don't know, jokingly said I would be the one that would get locked up for being ungrateful. Please don't ever think that I'm ever ungrateful because although I try not to get on here and sit and cry and I do understand what it's like to have your finances ripped out from under you. I do understand. And I'm never ungrateful for any. I'm grateful for you all just showing up and hitting the like button. But I've got to work on being a better friend to people. I have got to. Yesterday was absolutely miserable. But for Randy to sit in her post and say, or in her comments and say, they can make fun of me all they want. That's all you do, Randy. Do you ever think that when you're sitting up there calling me an e-beggar, that I'm not sitting behind a screen maybe crying? Because I got to be honest with you, Randy. I didn't think you were. But I don't know that. I'm not in your head. I'm not in your house. But I just couldn't. last night I thought there's just no way I can go over there and listen to them drag me tonight, because no one could have felt shittier about themselves than I do. So, and I got to give them credit. They didn't really drag me. They had their few jabs at me and they moved on. They had other people to talk about. But when Randy put in that comment, you can make fun of me all you want, I thought, Randy, that's all you all do. Hey, Veruca. You know, you're talking about somebody's hairstyle or, whatever. And they get made fun of too. I get it. Wendy gets called fat and water knees. And Ella just recently called Wendy the holy hillbilly. But don't act like you know me. They are petty and unimportant. Yeah, somebody calls her water knees. I don't know who it is. It's getting ready to start raining, girls. But nobody on here knows what anybody's going through. And yesterday, I just had a really bad day. I don't know. I'm assuming because her knees are so big, is what they're saying. I don't know, Puss in Boots. I think it's a stupid name. But I don't really like picking on people's looks. I mean, I walk around at 57 years old looking like I'm 9 months pregnant. Where do I get off picking on people's looks? I'd like to say happy belated birthday to Ziggy. Yesterday was Ziggy's birthday. She is so missed. For a woman who couldn't speak, her words were loud. And Ziggy liked everybody, so I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to sit up here. If you came in here to hear me sit and drag Wendy and Randy, it's not gonna happen. I just basically I really didn't have anybody to talk to about little Ricky. I know you do, Puss in Boots. I don't like going for looks either, Daria. I can't say that I never have, but I don't like it. It gives me a pit in my belly, and I don't like it. Anytime I do something that I morally don't approve of, I get this pit in my stomach, and I hate that feeling. Because then I have to back it pedal and apologize, and which I'm not above apologizing. I believe that, Sarah. I believe the adrenaline does hit people. I know I've been caught up in it. I'm not a saint. The only saint here is Ratty. But, I just cringed when Randy wrote that in her comment. I don't care if they make fun of me, but that's what you do, Randy, every Friday night. And because you two get up there and giggle about it, it somehow makes you different then when I have something to say, because I don't have a panel up here laughing, oh, I'm a miserable old dirty old sock. Come on. As a matter of fact, Lola took one of my socks because sometimes at night I can't stand to have things on my feet at night. So I'll go to bed with socks because my feet are cold. But then, come on, Maggie. I'll go to bed at night because my feet are cold and then I'll slip them off. So Lola, my niece's dog, jumped on my bed this morning and grabbed my sock. And I just busted out laughing. I was like, give me that dirty old sock. See, I have fun. I entertain myself quite a bit. Lola, no digging. Get in here. Come on, Maggie. Come on. Maggie, it's going to storm. Come on. God, she's a rockhead. I literally towed her down yesterday off of the picnic table. And she sat. I just left her out there. I was like, okay. I mean, it's a fenced yard. She wasn't in any kind of danger. Lola, no. No digging. Come on. Good morning, Hybrid. She is huge. She's about 70 pounds, but she's only 9 months, well, 10 months. She'll be 10 months at the end of November. So I don't know if she's going to get any taller. She's already filled out, but I knew she would after after getting spayed. I knew she would fill out. I love Maggie too. Thank you. Thank you, Corey. No digging. That's my leg I'm hitting you all, not the dog. That's my leg. Come on. See what you can destroy in the house as opposed to the yard. Good morning, Maine girl. How are you doing? Have you got to go visit your trees yet? Did that ever come in the mail, Maine girl, that card? As you all know, Maine girl lost her daughter tragically, unexpectedly, a while back. So, in honor of her sweet daughter, we had some trees planted in her name. And we've had some problems getting the card to her. So, because we all know how much Maine Girl loves the outdoors. Her videos are incredible when she's out walking that crazy beagle of hers. But again, I didn't come on here to I know you would, Maine Girl. I'll get with Pepper and Kiki and them and find out what we can do about getting it resent to you. I don't know why it's not coming. You remember when you won that water fountain? You got that, right? But I had that delivered from Amazon. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It doesn't matter. The trees are being planted regardless of whether you get the confirmation or not. I'd like for you to know where the trees are so that you could put a memorial plaque or something out there if you wanted to. but we'll get it figured out. Hey, Blackhearted. Yes, I did. I came live just to make Blackhearted's day. Looks like rain here. That sucks, but it's still warm. Do me a favor, guys. I don't ask for much. Hit the like button, please. Like I said, I wasn't, when I saw Randy's title, well, she actually changed it. She actually added me to it. We haven't had a lot of rain, St. Reddy, and this one should knock the final leaves that are hanging on off. Because God love the people. I mean, my brother, the neighbor, they blow leaves, and then within an hour, the ground's covered again. I was like, why don't you just wait for all of them to fall off? But whatever. But I guess we can all agree we're glad the hecklers went home. No one got hurt. Oh, yep. Mandy, I know your area then. I was watching the weather. I'm a big weather buff. There's actually a guy on YouTube that I follow. His name is Ryan something. I'll have to look. But he's really good. And he's really good at predicting the weather far out. Like, he made this prediction that this cold front was going to hit this warm front and it was going to cause, and this was weeks ago when he made this. Yeah, I know, Puss in Boots. I thought about you guys. Like I said, I watched the weather. I actually I found this channel. It's called Crime. Oh, God, man. I hate chemo brain or whatever it is that I can't remember shit anymore. Maybe it's just old age and dementia. I don't know. I hope not. That's a horrible, horrible disease. Yes, thank God they went home. Um, Ryan Hall, yes, Veruca, thank you. And thank God only 5 people were arrested. There was no drive-by shootings or, because that's what kept worrying me was some nut was going to drive by there and just unload. And, innocent people could have been hurt. And even though I don't like the people that were out there, the hecklers, the road protesters, whatever you want to call them, I don't want to see them get shot. I just think if they wanted to do something like that, then go stand outside of the landfill and hand out water to those that are out there digging through mounds and mounds and mounds of trash. I mean, yeah. I mean, was a car going to drive down the road and just take everybody out? I mean, I heard that, JC. Clowns on the ground, yes. JC, I heard that they were just taking channels. Just wonder why. How long did you have to go before yours came back up? Well, in all reality, Puss in Boots, he had no right to take that woman's bullhorn. But in my opinion, she was just as ornery as the rest of them. 2 days, you know. I understood why she was out there, but she was just as ornery as the rest of them. No, they did absolutely nothing to help that little boy. And so many people profited off of it. Not just the ones that were out there acting fools, but the ones that were back here behind their screens, uh, running, streaming them and getting super chats and PayPals and all of that. So, sorry, that's the way I feel. It doesn't mean that I don't like some of these creators that were doing it, because I do. But I heard of a couple people that lost it. I mean, I don't have any use for any of them that were down there. I don't care for Dolly. I don't care for Molly. I don't care for Bullhorn. I don't care for uh, Mallory. I don't care for Justice for All. I don't care. But the last week or so on this platform, and let's face it, it's been a shit show. It's been hard to turn your head, to turn your head. But there were people that sat right here behind their computers and they made money too. Hey, critters. That's what I kept saying, Hybrid. Stop giving them attention. And I'm glad that the Chatham County Police stepped up. And I'm glad, hey, Mags, that's a possibility, Mags. It was gross all the way around. And I'm sorry for anybody that doesn't agree with me. It was gross all the way around. Outside of this little boy's house, you had people screaming disgusting things, and that Aileen or Eileen or whatever her name was, the way she talked about Dolly's manly parts right out in front of this little boy's house. It was like, you know, but then again, I don't have a whole lot of respect for the family. No, Billy Joe does not deserve to be tormented like that. It's obvious she had nothing to do with whatever happened to that baby. So she does not deserve to be tormented like that. But when they started playing the same games that the clowns on the ground were playing, then I lost respect for them too. Because what they were doing was just as disturbing to their neighbors as what the hecklers were doing. The neighbors are the ones I felt the sorriest for. But like I said too, that wouldn't happen in my neighborhood. I would have put a stop to it. I would have taken a charge. And I don't feel bad that Dolly went to jail. You don't touch other people's property. Come up to me and grab something out of my hand. You know? So that big show at the jail, free Dolly, free Dolly. But I will give them credit. It was a shit show. And every channel covering it made it even more of a shit show. Because I personally think they should have been totally ignored. I would have never given them airtime. I agree, Mags. I agree that she holds some responsibility. And that lady has admitted that. But I mean, she was out making a living to pay, it's just a really tough, messed up situation. Yeah, JC. The vulgar sweatshirt Dolly had on, the Marry Me Leilani, it was just all so insane. But I don't super chat me while we're talking about this, because then I'll become a hypocrite. What it boils down to is that law enforcement, see, this is what I like about, and I said this in a chat. You know that Indiana is, oh, Cher's just as big. Hey, let me tell you something. Cher is just as big of a tragedy pimp as any of them. She just goes from the other angle. Benny Keys used to do the same thing. Cher is just as disgusting as the rest of them. She just uses a whole different angle. That's it. Instead of attacking from behind, she gets in good with the family. And then look what happens. Look at the way she speaks about Don Wells now. After she made friends with them, it is strange, Sarah, and it's gross, you know? And why these families do take to social media. The Wells did it. Everybody had Candace on panel, made tons of money of having Candace on panel, Dawn, and it turned into a circus. And the whole Quentin, sadly, is the one that got lost in all of it from all angles. But now, maybe, just maybe, law enforcement can do their job and pray that they find this little boy. Yeah, main girl. It's so hypocritical of Cher to preach that the family deserves innocence until proven guilty, but she'll talk all kinds of horrible crap on the babysitter. Exactly. Exactly. I don't know, Natalie. I don't know what she does to get in good with these people. I don't know if she contacts them and says, "Hey, I'm on your side and I know how to stop these nuts from attacking you." I have no problem when a case is being discussed with class, with facts. I actually went over and watched Gray yesterday. I don't watch Gray that often, okay? But he was talking about the Delphi case, and I went over there and I watched him, and he made it clear that because Gray's big about Google Earth and all that stuff. Hey, Catcherel, he made it clear that this was just his theory, and it's a pretty damn good theory. It's pretty much what I was thinking as I pat myself on the back. I will let you know that the little boy that was found in the Las Vegas suitcase, we all know that he's been identified. There are warrants. They have one in custody. There's a warrant for his mother. Um, his name, Cairo Jordan, has been added to the tombstone, the headstone that Little Washington County, Indiana. Yeah, I mean, I don't usually watch Gray, but I could not take another day of people making money off of Quentin, whether it be in front of the camera or behind the camera. I couldn't take another day of it. Well, great. He shows you where he thinks they parked the car. He shows you what trail they probably took. Yeah, Billy Joe really does think Cher's her friend. She's going to get stabbed in the back just like the Wells did. Exactly, main girl. It's a pretty interesting live. So if you're not doing anything and you're cleaning today or whatever, go watch his live because he I feel like he was alluding to the fact that, and I've felt this way since they arrested the Richard dude, that this goes way bigger. This goes way bigger. This is going to lead into probably a very large snuff film pornography kind of situation because the phone in which the recording of killing of the girls was recorded made its way all the way to Las Vegas. That one phone. Yes, it goes way deep. And I felt that way from day one. This was not just some creep walking the streets of Little Delphi, Indiana. This is some sort of really sick ring of men, women, whatever, that not only like porn, right, hybrid, but they actually like it to be filmed where the victims are being killed, which are called snuff films. It just so happens this alleged group of people, I like Duty Ron too, but this alleged group of people in this ring, this alleged ring, they just can't get their jollies, hey Pepper, off of just looking at a child. They have to be killed. I don't think I've ever watched eight. Is that 8 millimeter, 8 mm with Nicolas Cage? I don't know. It's gonna rain today, so I can find something. I gotta get a haircut, you all. I've got to get my haircut. It is hideous. I just think this is gonna go way deep, and I don't blame the police. I can't see how it wouldn't be connected. Exactly. You cannot say it's a coincidence that Keegan was actually online talking to Libby that day. And like Gray said, what an unlucky son of a bitch to be talking online with the little girl that he should have never been talking with, but he was under that profile of that male model, and then randomly she gets killed that day. No, it didn't happen that. This is going to go really deep. And I appreciate the fact that law enforcement, as much as I want to know too, trust me, I want to know. But if they're going to find out that this goes all over the country, if this could be one of the biggest snuff film making, because I mean, that's murder. That's not just, and when I say just pornography, I don't mean that. But I mean, this could be really, really big. It's already really big. But when the day comes where you find out, because they've already said the girls were positioned, you know, when it all comes out, if it ever all comes out, then I want as many people involved in this to be taken down. And I don't care how high it goes. I don't care how far it stretches. Trust me, I got aggravated too with law enforcement. I was like, come on, give us something more than a 3-second clip of down the hill. Because they admitted they had more, but they weren't releasing it. I would get, I get aggravated too. But I also try to understand that I'm not the experts. But I want any and all involved in this to be taken down. And if it means we don't get to know anything, there you go. It could reach into that, Saint Ratty. You don't know. But if it means that we don't get any information until these people are taken to trial, then we got to be okay with that. And it's no different with Quentin's case. You know? No, they're out there screaming, lock Leilani up, lock her up. She's in violation of probation. Do you know what violation of probation gets you? In the state of Indiana, if you violate your probation, you get a 15-day hold. What if after the 15 days, they don't have anything more than what they have right now? Do you not think that if those police had cold, hard facts, that they were 100% sure that Leilani is the culprit and that she's the only culprit, that they wouldn't go ahead and arrest her? Of course they would. They're building a case. And these clowns do not give anybody time to build a case. The only thing I've said about Leilani from jump and the boyfriend is I hope they're being monitored by law enforcement, not by Dolly, Molly, crazy crew, but that they're being monitored so that Leilani cannot slip away and cause harm to herself like the laundry dude did. Because Gabby Petito did not get justice. Her family did not get to face him. That's all I've ever said about the Quentin case. Is I hope they're being monitored so they can't slip away. That's it. And maybe they are. But, if they're keeping an eye on Leilani and they have somebody following her around, they're really not going to come out on social media and say, yeah, we've got Leilani staked out. A stakeout is not supposed to be known. Hence why they sit in little dark glasses and little dark cars. Oh, the baby Gabriel story. There's so many heartbreaking stories out there. As a matter of fact, the electric went out the other day here. I don't know why. But I was bored stiff. My phone was dead. I went and plugged it out in the car. But um I pulled out an old book and it's Small Sacrifices. No, Cruel Sacrifice. It's about the Shanda Share case that happened right here close to my hometown. I mean, Shanda lived in my hometown, and so did one of the girls that. And I thought about reading it to you all, but I don't have a very good reading voice. Would you all come in here every day for an hour while I read Cruel Sacrifice to you all? So I thought about doing that, like having story time every day. It's a very, very gruesome story. It's a very heartbreaking story. And it happened right here, like I said, in my hometown. And it was a 12-year-old little girl. Well, I bought the book. You don't think I can read it out loud, Blank Slate? I mean, I don't know. I'm not being smart. I'm asking a question. Full on hypocrisy. You're too important. Oh, impatient. I thought you said you're too important. I was going to say, well, you're very humble, too. Yes, all of the killers have been released. Melinda was the last one to be released. Hey, Don Marie, thanks for the membership. I thought Full On Hypocrisy said she was too, he or she said they were too important. I was like, damn, okay. A simple no thank you, not interested would have worked. Yeah, I could do that, Blackhearted. No, no, Veruca. This is where four teenage girls took a 12-year-old girl out and brutally murdered her. I mean, brutally. Like, I know the guy that received her body at the funeral home, he quit. Run it as a premiere. I don't know how to do all that stuff, you all. The sad thing is I knew Shanda's daddy. We belonged to a club called the 40 and 8, which is kind of like a VFW or a Legion where you pay dues or whatever. And he had a cabin out on Patoka Lake. Uh, those pictures you see of Maggie out on the boat were out on a lake called Patoka. Most of the time. Sometimes we might be on Hardy. But the one with the crocodiles, the alligators, that's Patoka. Um, Joking. Uh, he had a cabin out there, and after what happened to Shanda, he went out there and drank himself to death. So sad. I could do that full on hypocrisy. Sad story. Sad crime. First crime book ever read? Oh, blank slate. I don't know. I started reading crime books back when I was a teenager, and I'm old. What was your first crime book ever read? And now I found this channel. I'll have to put it in my community post because if I click off now, God knows what will happen. But I found this channel where you can visit old crimes and like listen to the jail calls from what I've been listening to is the jail calls. Y'all remember Dakota? Uh, Dakota starts with a T in Dayton, Ohio. Little tortured little boy. I don't want to say his last name because I don't want to mess it up. I can't remember. Man, my memory sucks. Oh, the Amy Fisher story. Yep. Oh, yeah, Blackhearted. Me too. That dude's crazy. I know, Sarah, but it makes me get Collins. Yes, Dakota Collins. Oh, my God. But it makes me feel like I'm getting into the heads of these people. Dakota. T uh, how does he spell it? Takoda from Dayton, Ohio. Look into that case. It's so sad. But they're all sad. They're all sad. When it comes to babies, old people, and animals, if you hurt one, I kind of have hatred for those parents too. Yeah, Dakota. Yeah, what happened to him was shocking. But I have hatred for most people that hurt, physically hurt children and old people and puppies and kittens and horses. And if you don't want them, you have the right to not have them. Do us all a favor. If you don't want them, you can't take care of them, you can't be good to them, don't have them. As far as the elderly, if you can't be good to the elderly, will be good to them. There's people that will be good to them. They're wiping out our past and our future. And I don't get it. But I'm going to jump off, guys. I went 2 minutes over my hour. You know how I don't stay on long. I appreciate y'all coming in. It felt good to get it off my chest about little Ricky. God rest his soul. I wish I could have been a better friend to him. I'm going to work harder at have left, real life and online. And then that's I'm gonna ask you all to do. If there's somebody in your life that agitates you, and sometimes you're like, I just don't want to talk to you. Quick, they put a death contract out for Laura's daughter because of the crimes Laura has done to women in real life. What? Who's Laura? You're going to have to explain that. I can't hang up until you tell me, Queen Bee, what you're talking about. They put a death contract out for Laura's daughter because of the crimes. What? Okay, you're going to make me go down a rabbit hole, Queen Bee. Are you trolling me? By the way, that's not the real Queen Bee because that's not her avatar. When I say the real Queen Bee, the one. Yes, no. Laura, Laura perplexed? Is that what you're talking about? Yes. So you're saying Laura perplexed. They put a contract out on Laura's daughter. Well, I mean, me and Laura aren't best of friends, but I do have her number. and I will get in touch with her. And somebody out of Tennessee. All right. Well, I'm gonna get off here. Yeah, was in green rooms 2 weeks ago. Well, I hope you're wrong. Um, I don't. Okay, now I'm starting to get uncomfortable, so I'm just gonna jump off here. I hope you all have a good day. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining my membership. Um, thanks for supporting my stream. Um, and if you have that one person in your life that just irritates the dog shit out of you, pick up the phone and call them. I wished I would have. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you around the tubes.